All right. So next we've got the Designing Responsible AI Technologies to Protect Information Integrity team, represented by Houjiang Liu of the School of Information. He'll present Generating Multi-Persona Debates with Large Language Models to Explore Diverse Perspectives on Controversial Topics.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Houjiang Liu. I'm currently a PhD student from School of Information. I'm so glad to be here to present one of our demos from our information integrity team, generating multi-persona debates with LLMs to explore diverse perspectives on controversial topics. So in Good System project, we actually follow a use-inspired research paradigm. So it means that given different kinds of societal challenge, we will think about how to assess the existing challenge and needs versus existing capabilities. So this can help us to direct, okay, what kind of research you want to deliver involved with AI. So in this loop, we will build new tools, new data set, or new models to see if it can successfully tackle the societal challenge. So in the big team information integrity, we aim to design, build, and test innovative AI technologies to support mainly journalists, professional fact checkers, and information analysts to prevent the spread of misinformation and the creation of misinformation. So specifically, we actively partner with global fact-checking organizations such as Bidan, FullFact, and PolitiFact. We also work with other institutes who are under the International Fact-Checking Network. So actually, the first study that we closely collaborate with fact checkers is co-design workshops. So the way that we facilitate this process is we build some interactive demos to simulate existing NLP capabilities. So the idea is that we break down into, okay, what is the AI input, what is the AI output, and then we let the fact checkers to play with them to see, okay, whether this capability can actually, assist their existing work. But the more important thing is we try to let them redesign, imagine, and repurpose, or maybe combine some of the AI NLP tasks together to come up with some new tools that directly assist their existing workflow. I think this, we believe that this would be, better let them to develop the tools that match their existing workflow and also the criteria and value. So actually, fact checkers come up with lots of different ideas. So one of the ideas is designing AI-assisted claim prioritization with multidimensional checkworthiness. So we demoed this, I think, in our last year symposium, but let me just get a refresh here. So the idea is that, well, fact-checking organizations, they have different criteria when they search what claims to check. So for example, they have verifiable facets, or they have likely to be false facets. But the important thing is that, well, different fact-checking organizations have different priorities. So our idea is that, okay, let's build a basic search system first, and then we let them to adjust the relative importance of different facets so they can filter the claims. So here the idea is to adjust how they consider one is more important or the other one maybe is less important. And then we also let them to filter down the claims based on AI predicted confidence scores. Of course, we just directly use LLM to let them to create some customized facets because fact-checking organizations have different kind of priorities and criteria, and then use these customized facets in combination with the previous one, they could filter claims that what they want. So in previous study, we closely collaborate with journalists, like many professional fact-checkers. But on the other hand, we also think about how we could maybe help end users to prevent the spread of misinformation. So that is another line of work that we have been working on. So one of the problems that we found is that users bias information seeking behavior. So imagine a scenario that we all have some kind of things that we were looking online, and then, well, there are debating opinions from different sites. So we do our own research, right? So we go online, we open the web, and then search Google. But usually people end up with, finding the article is maybe literally the first link that we agrees with the evidence that we already believe. And then after that, we read in the article, boom, well, success, it actually validates what I'm thinking, so we believe this is actually the truth or the fact. But actually, it's not like the same. So in the academic world, we like name this as confirmation bias. So it's like a common behavior in traditional search, which means that individuals will tend to seek out the evidence that supports their belief, but well, ignoring contradictory information. And this could easily lead to echo chamber, which means that limited exposure to different kinds of perspectives, well, it will encourage the formation of like-minded groups that frame and reinforcing the narratives. And currently, actually, the simple LLM integrations, research find that it will amplify user susceptibility to this kind of cognitive bias. So we are thinking about how to nudge users, how to mitigate these issues. So our hypothesis on the idea is maybe we could prompt LLMs to generate a kind of persona and let them do debates, well, which means that we are users not only to debate on themselves, but let's see how LLM debates. And then if it can actually help to encourage users to explore different kind of diverse viewpoints. So before I show up the video demo, let me just walk through the demo feature step by step. So first, we encourage users to select or enter any topic of interest and select one from the presets, controversial topic that we provided. And then the system will generate different kind of personas. Each persona will have a name and it have a very brief descriptions. So the user could change, edit, or delete any persona that they prefer before they launch the debate. So and then we organize the debates in a roundtable format. So each persona will first give an opening statement. And then they will also provide some additional rebuttal or maybe arguments in the following debates based on the concept that they debate in the first round. And then we also allow users to just save the argument that they agree or disagree and then just review them in the summary tab. So let me just quickly go through the video demo. So here, so you could type any interesting topic that you want to discuss, or here I will just select the existing one, like should animals be used for scientific or commercial testing? So it generates 5 personas. So each persona have a title, have a brief description. So we can see here, this is animal rights activism, medical researchers, etc. So users could delete one of them, or maybe make some changes or add a new persona, which is very different from the previous one. Yeah, and then, well, after the adjustment, well, we start debating. So the first persona will first provide opening statements. So it will give whether they support or oppose this kind of topics, and then give some bullet points showing their arguments. And then it goes to another personas. So users can just, okay, I agree with that, and I disagree with that. So use the thumbs up and thumbs down buttons. So after reviewing the first round of persona, they could just quickly look at, okay, what in the summary tab, what arguments that is saved. So now let's try to initiate another round, because in this time the users might want to add a new persona, or maybe they find one persona is not very convincing, so I'm not going to see it, so I could just delete that. So the interesting thing is that in one of our user study, we found that one user, given this topic, should animals be used for scientific or commercial tests, they actually enter a persona named dog, and say, I'm a cute dog. So they wanted to see if, how a dog will actually react to it. And then he made some adjustments, delete some of them, it's not very convincing, and only save maybe 1 or 2, and then initiate another round of debates. And then you could quickly navigate to the second round. So in the second round, you can see, maybe it's not very clear, it's not very clear here. So the idea is that, okay, the previous persona will actually react what they say and what other personas say from the previous round and provide the rebuttals and arguments. And then because the dog is a new persona, they will give a first opening statement saying that, okay, I'm a dog, I can communicate like humans, so I totally against with this topic, something like that. So this is how the system actually works. So in our actual research, we actually compare this multi-persona debate system with a traditional retrieval system featuring opposing viewpoints. So in the traditional one, actually also present like a support or oppose, but it actually only extract like content or text snippets from open web and articles. So the idea is that we wanted to see will the debate system like be more effective, like actually be more effective than the traditional one in fostering constructive deliberation on controversial topic. So actually we collect some of the data using mixed method studies. So we have quantitative data like the eye tracking engagement data. It actually helps us to capture, okay, where the people are actually paying more visual attentions on the contents that actually challenge their belief. And then we also collect some user behavioral data from both systems, like the debate rounds, how many personas they actually selected, how many bookmaster visits, how many times they change the new persona. And we also collect some subjective evaluation like topic familiarity, confirmation bias disposition. So this means that how likely people are easily falling into the confirmation bias, and also belief change and other kind of subjective evaluation. We also do a semi-constructed interviews and then do a think aloud protocol. So let me just briefly record the problem. So the problem is that, okay, people sometimes you're likely just falling into the confirmation bias trap that we usually just seek out evidence that, follow our belief. And then when we actually compare the difference between these two systems, we find that compared to the retrieval system, the debate system actually leads participants to read more content that challenge their beliefs. It is showing our visual attention when we capture the eye tracking data. So the second is that the retrieval-based system appears more susceptible to users' confirmation bias tendencies. So this results in a significant difference as we capture the tendency in our survey, and then we find that, well, that the significant difference only show in the retrieval-based systems, but not in the debate system. We also asked some additional research questions, like such as what is the overall user experience when they play with the debates, and compared to the retrieval-based system, how does the multi-debate system actually influence users' pre-existing beliefs? So actually, we find 3 different patterns when they play with the system. First is, well, there's a group of people who seek balanced viewpoints and actively, actively collect the argument. It's like an information collector. So there's another group of people who actually prefer to generate lots of rounds of debates to make sense of the topics. And there's a final group of people who extensively edit and change debates. And it seems like they take the longest time to play with the system. However, we still find there's a general tendency when users play with our system, selecting persona that align with their prior beliefs. So it seems like it's like a natural tendency that people doing that. And then we also find that topic familiarity significantly impact users' final belief changes after using both systems. So that means that if your topic familiarity is higher, it's less likely for you to change the belief. So finally, I would like to thank my colleagues. We have lots of brilliant student researchers, and thank our professors, Matt and Yasis, help us to frame this topic, and special thanks to our other colleagues in the lab and ecosystem and Microsoft Research. So feel free to scan the QR codes. We have all the papers in this code, and also you could click, there's a link like demo, you could play with the demo. It takes some time to load it at first. Okay. Yeah, so I'm ready to take any questions from the audience. Thank you.
Could you comment on how your personas were trained, and particularly how do you label the personas while you're doing the training? That someone has to say, oh, this comment or this point of view belongs to this type of person or that type of person. So you have to be able to categorize people first. How did you do that?
Yeah, thank you. So actually, in prior work, there's different ways for you to literally write the prompt in the personas. For example, you could add the traits in the personas, or you could add the characteristics you wanted to see the persona. But the way that we do it is in a very automatic way. So we first prompt the LLM to say that, okay, try to come up with different kind of professionals or personas given these social topics. And then it will list different kind of personas. And then we prompt the LLM to say that, okay, given this persona, write a description to reflect whether it will support or oppose the persona. So in the first round, so this is how we automatically generate different kind of personas. But actually, when we're doing the user study, we have another round of labeling because we want to make sure that this persona actually, the argument actually reflect what they say. So we have another, so one of our researchers actually do this kind of labeling to actually see where the persona actually, make the argument that supports, or oppose. But the interesting part we find from the user study is, well, there are a group of, so there's one group of participants who actually generate lots of rounds of debates. So there are some of them that generate maybe 6 and 7 rounds. And it turns like all personas seems to, yeah, I agree with you. Or like most of them, they start conversion. It's not like a it's not stick to their prior stance, but it's more like a convergence. I think this is like some of the inherent, maybe, I'm not calling it as a bias for the LLM, but maybe it's like a trend that LLM, right now the current LLM seems to please you like first, but do not actually stand in their previous stance. Yeah, so that is the current observation that we find. Oh, follow up.
Yeah, follow up. This database that you used, first of all, was it text-based or audio or a combination?
Text.
Text.
Only text.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every persona had to be someone that had some skill at writing, right?
Oh, can you
Well, I'm saying there are lots of people who have opinions and they'll express them verbally, but they'll never write them down. So the people that actually write what they think are in a category by themselves. So there's a little bit of bias in the way your data is selected. Did you do anything to account for that?
Well, actually, all the texts are directly generated by, the argument are directly generated by LLM. So we did not refer to any text from the web. But we'll actually build a retrieval-based systems, which is that it will take the arguments from the web and then generate the, take the text from the web and then generate the arguments. Yes. So that is how we look up the text, but mainly in the, whether it's non-RAG or RAG, the LLM mainly generate their own arguments based on the personas that they simulated. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Thank you. How would you use your system in order to help people to be more open and to be more tolerant about different perspectives?
To be honest, I think, well, this is a very good question. But I happen to find it's a very questions to answer, but also objectively measure. So in our study, we actually have different kinds of, we have a survey to collect users' belief change, which is like, okay, from 5 Likert scale. But so we want to see, okay, we actually deploy these systems to participants like our college students to see, okay, whether they actually like change their belief shift or maybe become less polarized. But the difficult for the measurement is that we are not so sure like how to measure the polarizations. So imagine that one student's previous is neutral, in the neutral stage, but they move any direction, it could mean polarized. And if one of the participants previously is less opposed, but after using the system they become strongly support, does it mean polarized? So it's very difficult to see like how actually the system will make people think, like become less polarized. It's more like we could only reflect on their qualitative data. They argue that, okay, yeah, we do find there's something that we missed. And then some of things learn new things when they play with the debates. But we find it very difficult to measure it, only using the belief change scale.